Continuing the Bhagavad Gita as it is, Chapter 2, Text 26. Avyakto yamma chintyo yamma vikaryo yam uchyate tasmad evam vididva innam nanuso chetum arhase. This soul is invisible, inconceivable. This soul is unchangeable. It is said of this soul, therefore, like this, knowing it well, do not lament this soul. You deserve. Atha chayenam nitya jatam nityam vamanyase martam tatha petabam mahabaho nainam sochetum arhase. If you also think this soul is born, that you either think that is forever or its death is forever, still, O mighty armed one, never about this soul do you deserve to lament. Jatasya hidruvo mrityur dhruvam janma mritasya chatasmad apare harya vrithe natabam sochitum arhase. One who has taken birth certainly will face the fact of death. It's also a fact that the birth of the dead, therefore, is unavoidable in the matter. So, don't you lament. You don't deserve that. Avyaktadine bhutane vyakta madhyane bharata avyakta nidhananye eva tatra kapare devanna. In the beginning, unmanifested, is all that are created, manifested. In the middle, O descendant of Bharata, the non-manifested, when vanquished, it's all like that. Therefore, what reason should there be for lamentation? Ascharyavat pasyate kaschin enam ascharya vadate tatha eva chanyah ascharya chayenam anyah srnate srudvape enam vada nachayeva kaschit. It's amazing for someone to see this soul as amazing. And they speak of it thus. Certainly also, another is similarly amazing. Also this soul, another, hears of having heard, and even this soul knows. Never and certainly, someone can't understand him at all. And the Katha Upanishad 127. Sravanaya pe bahuberyo na labya sanvando pe bahavo yamna vidyu ascharyo vakta kusalo syalabda ascharyo syajnata kusalanusishta. And whether the soul is part of a giant animal or a giant tree or in a microbe, billions and billions occupy only a space, which is amazing. People with poor knowledge can't understand this atomic nature. And if they have a mere material perception of things, they can't imagine how such a soul can be in the great or the small. And they don't have any idea of these miseries. And in text 30, Dahi nityam avadyo yam dehe sarvasya parata tasmat sarvane bhutane natabam sotatum arhase. The owner of the material body eternally can't be killed. This soul in the body of everyone, a descendant of Bharata, therefore, are all living entities. And never are you to lament. You don't deserve that. Svadharmam apecha vekshyana vekampetum arhase dharmyad veyundat shreyo nyat kshatreyasya navidyate. One's own religious principles are also indeed to consider. Never should you hesitate. You deserve to be upon religious principles. Rather, indeed, than fighting is better engagement. Any other of the warrior class does not exist. And ahavashu metho anyonyam jeram santo mahikchetah Yudhamana param saktya svargam yante aparan mukha yajneshu pasavo brahman hanyante satatam dvijay samskrita killa mantraischa te pe svargam ava Nuvan. In the battle, someone of the warrior class, while fighting another, is jealous of him. He's eligible for the heavenly planets after death, as the priestly class also attain the heavenly planets by sacrificing animals in the sacred fire. So, whatever your duty and Oh, it doesn't say where that last verse that we've seen is from. The Sabar Dharmam to Vidyata, we have that, but we're not having. Oh, it's some religious law books state that. So Yarachaya kopapannam svargadavaram apavratam sukhinnah kshatriya partha labante yuddham mirsam. By its own accord, it's also arrived at of the heavenly planets. The door is wide open to happiness of the royal order, O son of Partha. Do achieve by this war. And Parasara also said, Kshatriyo he praja rakshan sastra panne prarandayan nitya parasahinyade kshatem dharmena palayat. The duty of the ruling class is to protect the citizens from the various difficulties. And that's why he has to be violent at times, when it's suitable for the sake of law and order, not the television show. Therefore, he has to conquer the soldiers, and thus he should rule over the world. Apachetvam imam dharmyam sangramam nakarishyase tatasva dharmam kirtim cha hitva papam avapsyase. Therefore, if you see this as a religious duty, don't perform the fighting. Then, if it is your religious duty and your reputation, you will also be losing. And there will be sinful reaction that you gain. Akirtim kape bhutane kapa yeshyante te avyayam sambhavetasya chakirter maranadatirichyate. Infamy also, over and above all the people, will speak of you forever. For a respectable person, also, ill fame becomes as something more than death. Payaranaru paratam mam syante davam maharafaya shamcharavam bahu mato bhuvtvayasyase langavam. Out of fear, you went from the battlefield and stopped. And they'll continue to consider you one of the great generals, for whom also in great estimation you will continue to be decreased in value in their consideration. Avachya vadams cha bahun vadishyante tavaheta nindantastava samartyam tato dukkataram dukim. Unkind, fabricated words. Also, many will say. Like your enemies when vilifying your ability. Of course, what would be more painful than what is there? Hatova prapsya svargam Jedvava bhokshya mahim tasmarudishta kaunteya yundaya krita nischaya. Being killed, either you gain the heavenly kingdom by conquering, or you enjoy the world, therefore, by getting up, O son of Kunti, to fight, determined, with certainty. Sukha dukkha samkritva balambau jaya jayau tato yundaya yujyasva naevam papam avapsyase. Happiness and distress are in equanimity. Doing so, both profit and loss, both victory and defeat, hereafter, for the sake of fighting, engage. Never in this way is there sinful reaction for you to gain. And the Bhagavatam 11.5.41 says, Devarshe bhutapta nirnam pitrunam na kinkara nayam branni charajam sarvatmana yasaranam saranyam gato mukundam parehritya kartam. So, if one is completely surrendered to deity, giving up other duties, is no longer in debt, nor is he one who debt is owed to. Not the angels, the sages, or the people in general, the kinsmen, humanity, or the forefathers. Ashate beta sankhya buddhe yogetav imam snu bundya yukto yaya partha karma bandham prahasyase. All this is described to you by analytical study. Enlightenment in connective work, but this, just here by intelligence, that's dovetailed, by which, O son of Partha, the bondage of reaction, that you can be released from. And Sisyas te aham saveram tavam prapanam. The surrender is a working process. Neha Bekramana so ste pradyavayo na vidyate samvalpamape asya vamasya trayate mahato bayat. There isn't in this endeavoring loss, there are diminution. Never is there that. There is a little of this occupation that releases from the great danger. The Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.17 Tyaktava sadharmam charanam bhujam hare bharajan apakvo aptapatet tato yade yatrak bhavabhadram aburamusyakim kovata apto bhajatam sabadharmatah. If someone gives up their duty in God consciousness and then fails because they didn't do their work, what loss is on their part? And what gain if one performs his material aspects perfectly? So if you do things merely materially, the material is the only platform that you're going to get anything on. But you don't lose if you try spiritually. Vyavasayadmeka buddhire keha kuru nandana bahu sakhahe anantascha buddhayo avyavasayenam. Those who are firm in their consciousness the enlightenment is only one in this world. O beloved child of the Kurus, having various branches indeed is also unlimited intelligence of those who are not in the consciousness. The Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 2262 states, Asravasamde Visvasakahe Sunruddha Nischaya Krishna Bhakte Kaele Sarva Karma Kritaheya. Faith is about unflinching trust in the divine. When one engages in devotional service of divinity, he doesn't need to act in terms of the material world. And the Surila Visvanatha Chakravarti Thaka says, Yasya prasadan bhagavad prasado yasya prasadan gate kuto pedyayan stuvams tasya yasastre sandhyam vande guroh Sri Charanarvindam. By satisfying an enlightening teacher, the personality of God becomes satisfied. By not satisfying the spiritual master, the chance is gone for being promoted to the plane of God consciousness. I should, therefore, meditate and pray for His mercy 3 times a day, and offer my respectful obeisances to Him, my spiritual master. And, well, it's important to admit where we get the teachings from, regardless of how we have to interact in other ways. Yam imam pushpetam bacham pravandante ave pascheta vedavada rata parthananyad astite vadina. All these flowery words are said by men with poor knowledge, supposed followers of the scriptures of Sanapartha. Never should anything else be thus advocated. Kamatmana Svarga para janma karma phala pradam kreya visesha bahuram bonga isvarya gatim prate. Desirous of sense gratification, aiming to achieve the heavenly planets, resulting in good birth, another fruitive activity, for these various pompous ceremonies in sense enjoyment and opulence, is that progress towards. In the Karma Kanda section of the Vedas, it said, Apama somam amrata bhuma akshayam havaye chaturmasya yajinnah sukratam pavate. Those who can perform the 4-month penances become obligated to drink, while they become eligible to drink the consciousness dance beverages, to become immortal and happy forever. And one can think of these things symbolically, right? Soma isn't just a mix of opium, ephedra, and marijuana, but it's the consciousness thereof, perhaps without the insanity. Boga isvarya prasaktanam taya parta chetasam vyavasayarmeka buddhe samadhauna vidyata. To material enjoyment and opulence is for those who are attached by such things, that bewilder their mind and fix your determination in devotional service and in controlling the mind never takes place with these people. Okay, I think it's throwing a yor, but Yeah, they're bewildered, and it keeps them from the mental and spiritual platform. Nirukta says, Samyag Adhyata Asmin Atma Tattva Yatatmyam. When the mind's fixed for understanding the self, it's said to be in the exalted state. Trae gunya vishaya vedanis trae gunyo bavarjuna nirvandvo nitya sattva sato niryoga kshema atmavan. Pertaining to the three modes, is the subject matter of the scriptures transcendent to the three modes? Be Arjuna, without duality, in a pure state of spiritual existence, free from ideas of gain and protection, and established in the self. Yavanartha udapane sarvata samplutodaketavan sarveshu vedeshu brahmanasya vijanata. All that is meant in a well of water in all respects, a great reservoir of water, similarly, in all scriptures, of the man who knows the Creator is one who is in complete knowledge. The Srimad Bhagavatam 3:33-7. Aho bata svapacho Togariyan yan jivangre vartate namadumbyam tepus tepastenjuvu sasnurarya brahmanuchur namagranante yete. When one is chanting your holy name, although born of a low family, like a dog-eater, is situated on the highest platform of realization, such a person must have performed all sorts of penances and scriptural rituals and studied the scriptures many times after bathing in places of pilgrimage. Such a person is considered to be the best of the noble families. Karma neva de karaste ma fareshu karachana ma karma fala hetur burmate sango karmane. The prescribed duties, certainly you have the right, but you're never entitled to the fruits at any time. Never in the result of the work. The cause becomes never of you. Never should you be attached. There should be never an attachment to not doing your duty. Okay. So yeah, you shouldn't be attached to doing stuff and not doing stuff. It should be more about should you do or not do. Yoga satha kuru karmane sangam tyaktva dhananjaya sendyo samobhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. Equiposed in performance of your duties. Give up the attachment, O Arjuna, in success and failure. Be equiposed in becoming. Equanimity is the connecting called. Durena he avaram karma bodhe yogad dhananjaya buddha usaranam anvecha karpanna phala hetavah. Put it off at a long distance. Certainly abominable is the activity for itself. The connecting by enlightenment, O conqueror of wealth, in such consciousness with full surrender. Try, because the misers are those who do it for the fruitive results. Budhe yukto jahati ya ube sukrita dushkrite tasmad yoga ya yujyasva yoga karma sukha usalam. One who's engaged in devotional service can get rid of it in this life, both the good and bad results. Therefore, for the sake of devotional service, be so engaged in the making of the connection with all activities artfully. Karma jambu de yukta he phalam dhyaktva manishyennah janma bandha vinyarmukta param gacchante anamayam. Due to the fruit of actions, being engaged in devotional service certainly results in giving up. Great sages or devotees from the bondage of birth and death are liberated. And that's the position they reach without miseries. The Srimad Bhagavatam 10:14-58 says, Samashrita ye pada pallava plavam mahat padam punyaya samurareh bhavam buddhirvat sa param 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 yan viparam natesham. For the one who has accepted the boat of the lotus feet, the Lord who is the shelter of the cosmic manifestation and is famous as the giver of liberation. The ocean of the material world is like that contained in the footprint of a cow. and they go beyond to the place without misery, without misery, without misery. And Vaikuntha is his goal, not the place where there's danger in the steps of the life that one lives. Yada te moha kalelam buddhivyate tarishyate tada gantase nirvedam srotasya cha. When your illusion is a dense forest, the process of enlightenment surpasses at that time, and you shall go with the callousness towards all that is to be heard, and all that's already heard also. The Sri Madhavendra Puri said, Sandhya Vandana Bhadram Astu Bhavato Boh Snana Tubhyam Namo Bodheva Petrascha Parpanna Vidaunaham Ksham Yatam Yatrag Vapenishadya Yarava Kulot Tam sasya kamsarvishya smaram mangam haram metandaram manye kim manyaname. In my 3 times a day prayers, glory to you. Bathing, I offer my obeisances to you. The light beings, the forefathers, excuse me for my inability to offer you my respects. Now wherever I sit, I can remember my great descendant of the Yadu dynasty, the enemy of Kamsa, and therefore I can free myself from all sinful bondage. I think this is enough for me, and I personally wouldn't pray to the shining ones or the ancestors or that, but certainly pointing out the value of those things in one's cosmology can be important. Strute viprate panate yara satasyate nischala samavavachala buddhis tada yogam avapsyase. Of the revelation, without being influenced by the fruitive results, is yours what remains unmoved in the transcendental consciousness, unflinching intelligence. At that time, the self-realization is what you'll achieve. Arjuna uvacha stheta prajnasya kabasha samadhistasya kesava stheta dih kim prabhasheta kim asita vrajeta kim. Arjuna said of one who is situated in the subtle energy, what language is there of the one situated in the trance? O master of the senses, one fixed in consciousness, what speaks, and how does it remain still? What walks, and how? Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Prajahate Yada Kaman Sarvan Partha Manogatan Atmane Evatmana Tushta Steta Prajnastadochate. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, because we were talking about Revelation before, when he gives up desires for sense gratification of all sorts, O son of Pertha, which arise from mental fabrication in the pure state of the soul, certainly by the purified mind, satisfied, transcendently situated, at the time it is said, Dukashavanudvignamana Sukashu Vigata Sprah Vitaraga Bhaya Krodha Steta Virmunir Uchyate. In the threefold miseries, without being agitated in mind and happiness, without being interested, free from attachment, fear, and anger, whose mind is steady. That's who's called a sage. Yasarvadrana besnehas tat prapya subam na benandate na dveshte tasya prajna pratishteta. One who's ever without affection, that for achieving the good, evil never prizes and never envies. His perfect knowledge is fixed when he doesn't praise or despise. And the Mahabharata Vana Parva 313, 117. Na sa vrashir yasya matam na benam. So every one can agitate the mind, has a different angle of vision. But there's a difference from the ordinary mind. The Stotra Ratna 43 says, Prasanta Neshasha Mano Ratantara. So some people surpass the stage of mental speculation. Yada samharate chayam kurmu naganiva sarvasah indriyanindriyarthebhyas tasya prajna prarishtita. When he winds up as a tortoise with their limbs like all together, so the senses from the sense objects, his consciousness is fixed. Visaya vinivartante niraharasya rehinna rasa varjam rasa pyasya param drishtva nivartate. The objects for sense enjoyment are practiced, restraining from them by the negative restrictions for the embodied, giving up the taste, the sense of enjoyment, although there is far superior things, by experiencing. He stops from that. Yatato hyape kaunteya purushasya vipascheta indriyane pramathine harante prasabam mana. When endeavoring, certainly in spite of that, O son of Kunti, is a man full of discriminating knowledge of the senses that agitate and throw by force the mind.